What up? Live from the GHS Sports Radio studios and the GHS Sports Network. This is the Rant. I am James Lassiter, the star of the show. We are presented as always by Anchor Collision Center in Warner Robins. Call Rick 478-922-9090, 478-922-9090. We are also presented by Guapaholic Entertainment, GHF, the founders of the show, the founders of They Found Me. And we are coming at you live from Atlanta, Georgia, SEC Country. You can contact the show at Facebook, facebook.com/James Lassiter, facebook.com/The Sports Gurus. You can hit us up on Twitter at Radio Guy 15, at GHS Sports Radio, at Mr. Payton. You can also email us, ghsportsradio@gmail.com. It is good to be here today on a Wednesday evening. We got a ton to get into. We're absolutely loaded on a beautiful Wednesday evening. We are back on our regular days of Wednesday and Saturday. Now that the NFL season has come and gone, we will go to our Saturday and Wednesday shows. Before I get into it, let me give a shout out to my artist, Mike Foreign Vandiver. You can find him on YouTube, on SoundCloud. His newest album is Closer to My Dreams. Check him out. And if you want to know what other platforms he is on, contact Mr. Payton at Gmail. That is Chris. You can find him on Twitter at Mr. Payton. You can find him on Facebook at just Christopher Payton. So, last night, before we get into sports, last night I took because tomorrow's Valentine's Day. I hope everybody has gone out and done what they need to do with their significant other, whether it be a wife, girlfriend, whoever. In my case, it was my daughter, and she is 4 years old, and I took her on her first daddy-daughter date, and she had the time of her life. I sent a picture of one of my good friends, and she was like, "Dude, you've got to post that on Facebook." I did not. I am not a big person on posting pictures of my kids or my family on Facebook, but she was yelling at me today, telling me, "You didn't post it on Facebook." No, I did not. I don't plan to. I don't intend to either. But yeah, that was fun. I had a great time. We went to Chili's, and then I took her for a walk, and we just walked through Walmart. It was too damp outside. I didn't want her to get sick, because God knows if I send that child back to her mama sick, my world and my life will soon come to an end. So I took her to Chili's, then I took her to Walmart, and we had the time of our life. So, are the Lakers in trouble? I believe the Lakers are in trouble. Matter of fact, I know the Lakers are in trouble. They're in some deep trouble. They're coming off a couple of, I don't want to say big, because big would be an understatement, but everything going on in LA right now, when it comes to the Lakers and Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka and the Buss family and LeBron and everybody, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Right? It's a mess. They're coming off some, so since I can't use the word big, because that would be an understatement, let's say, what's a good synonym for big? Enormous defeats? Devastating defeats? I don't know what word you want to use. Fill in the blank. But it's been bad in LA. Ever since LeBron got hurt on Christmas Day, it has been an absolute nightmare in LA. And now that he's back, it doesn't seem to be getting any better. I don't know if they're 27-29 or 28-29, but whenever LeBron went out, I believe they were 7 games over 500. Now they are 1 game under 500. It's been a month, and it's been an absolute dumpster fire. They really look like Cleveland. They look like Cleveland or the Knicks. And we'll get into the Knicks here in a minute. And how they have took tanking to an absolute different level. I mean, that's a mess. But we'll get into that in a minute. But the Lakers are absolutely, in order to get, we're talking about just to get into the playoffs as an 8 seed, they're going to need probably 40 to 41 wins. And, you know, that's winning 13 or 14 of their remaining, 25 games? And if I'm LeBron, and I'm thinking, hey, if I make the 8 seed, I get to go against the Warriors. And I don't know that I want to play the Warriors in the first series. They're going to run us out of town. I've got a pretty competitive history with them. And if I play them, I'm going to get beat by 50 every night. So assuming they get the 8 seed, I'm not sure LeBron. I think LeBron would rather miss the playoffs than make the playoffs and get run out by Golden State the way they're going to get run out. I mean, they're losing to teams by, 25 points. The night after they come back, I heard it. The night after they beat the Celtics, they said, oh, they're going to be just fine. And then they come out and they play Philadelphia. They give up, 143 points? And then they turn around and lose to the Hawks, who are not even trying to win right now. They are tanking. And the Lakers lost to a team who is actively tanking. Do you understand? Do you understand that the Lakers are in severe trouble at the moment? With or without LeBron? Because with LeBron back, they don't look much better. They are an absolute dumpster fire. And it doesn't help because having Luke Walton as their coach doesn't help them, but it doesn't hurt them. I mean, Luke Walton hasn't done anything in my eyes that would tell me, hey, this guy's an NBA coach. He hasn't. He's, and don't tell me about, well, whenever he was in Golden State, the things that, they won all these games in a row. That's Golden State, not LA. That's Golden State that had, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson enough by themselves is enough to win games. It's enough. In today's NBA, coaching has so little to do with winning games, with success. Luke Walton's a perfect example. Same guy, same coach, same style, same everything. It worked in Golden State and it's not working in LA. Luke Walton is going to probably get fired this weekend. I would assume he would get fired this weekend. I mean, whenever you lose to a team that is actively tanking, it's kind of an excuse to fire him. So I'm pretty sure he will get fired. And let's be honest, the reason that that Luke Walton gets fired is not because it's a business decision. And I had the same conversation with Chris today. It's not a business decision. It's a LeBron James decision. LeBron wanted him out. He's going to be out. He wasn't Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson's guy. He's going to be out at some point, whether it be this weekend, or whether it be the end of the season, he will be out. We're about to see the beginning of the end of the Luke Walton era in LA. But, you know, let's be honest. Everything LeBron wants, he gets. And I have never in my life have I been told more than I have over the last 2 weeks that I have flipped on LeBron. I have not flipped on LeBron. I just want to keep it as authentic as possible on this show. I haven't flipped on LeBron. I still think he's one of the great. In my eyes, he is the greatest to ever do it. You know, he's going to finish with more points, more assists. We've gone through this. We went through it on the last show with Chris. But everything LeBron wants, he gets. He wanted David Blatt out. He got it. He wanted Kevin Love. He got him. He wanted, you know, for 15 years. We've seen this throughout his career. Anything he wants, he gets. So if he wants Luke Walton out, Luke Walton will be out. Because it's all about keeping LeBron happy. So he wants Luke out. Luke's going to be out. Point blank, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's the way it's going to be. And there's nothing that Luke Walton can do. There's nothing that anybody can do. If LeBron wants it, LeBron gets it. And he's going to get it. And so think about this. Whenever David Blatt was he got hired as a coach shortly before LeBron came back to Cleveland, right? So that wasn't LeBron's guy. That wasn't the guy LeBron wanted to be the coach. And whenever LeBron got there, he dealt with it for a year, and then they brought him back, and, you know, what was that, 15, and then, you know, the next year's whenever they won the championship. Well, they didn't fire David Blatt because he didn't get the job done the year before. They fired David Blatt because LeBron James wanted David Blatt fired, and he wanted Ty Lue hired. So David Blatt was fired, Ty Lue took over, and they won the championship. But, as I was told earlier today, yeah, but Ty Lue got the job done. Ty Lue didn't get anything done. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving went out of their freaking minds for a week, scoring 40 and 41 points a game each in games 5, 6, and 7. That had nothing to do with Ty Lue. Ty Lue's not out there making shots. Ty Lue's managing timeouts. That's about what he's doing. He's managing timeouts. He's managing substitutions. But Ty Lue wasn't out there going off. No. That was Kyrie and LeBron. They got the job done. The guys on the floor got the job done, not Ty Lue. And just like with the Lakers situation, coaching in today's NBA is not nearly as effective in today's league than it was back then. Back in the Jordan era and even the Kobe era. It's different today. And at the end of the day, Luke Walton's going to be fired because they're not going to improve with him. They're not going to improve without him. The only reason I would fire Luke Walton is simply because, first of all, you lost to a team who is actively tanking. And secondly, the progression, I don't know if how many people sit here and look at the progression of players, but Brandon Ingram's not improving. I know that Lonzo Ball's been injured a little bit. He hasn't had a full summer to really work on his game. But the progression of some of these players, some of these young players, is just not at the pace that I believe the Lakers want. So that would be another reason that they're probably going to move on. And as I've been saying on my last, 5-minute rant, that LeBron wants him gone, so he's going to be gone. Point blank, period. So let me get into this tanking real fast. Because the New York Knicks have lost I believe it's 17 in a row. Could be 18. So they've lost 17 straight games. And, the way that they're doing it is different. It's not like they're just putting in all their young players. They traded Porzingis. They're not even remotely competitive. The closest game they've been in recently was against the Cavaliers, another team who is actively tanking. And there's nothing the NBA can do about it. There's nothing anybody can do about it. What are you going to do? If you're the NBA, how do you stop these teams from tanking? Do you have them? Do you give every team a ping pong ball? I was listening to a show today, and you could give every team a ping pong ball. You could. There's ways to make tanking irrelevant, but until they do anything like that, there's nothing you can do about it. But the Knicks have taken it to a completely different level. They're putting different starting fives out there. They're not. It is bad. It is bad. And it's all about Zion Williamson. It's all about Zion Williamson. Everybody wants to get that number one slot so they can get Zion Williamson because they think Zion Williamson's game is going to translate to the NBA. And although most of his game will, you can tell he's got a long way to go before he's some elite player in the NBA. He's got some work to do. And we'll get to Zion here in a few minutes. But the New York Knicks are taking this to a completely different level. And it's incredible. To me, it's humorous. Because whenever you go about tanking the way they have, it's absolutely, is it embarrassing for the league? I know it's not embarrassing for the Knicks. Because the Knicks have been an embarrassing franchise for years. So it's not embarrassing for the Knicks. It's just, it's mind-boggling. It really, really is mind-boggling. But, and they're going to go through all this. And at the end of the day, they're not going to get that number one pick. The Cavaliers, the Hawks, or, throw in any team that's actively tanking at the moment, and they're gonna end up getting it. This is the way it works for the Knicks. Whenever the Knicks think they got it figured out, they find a way to screw it up, and I can't wait. But let me translate into some MLB real fast. One of my guys, he's a big baseball insider. Out of Fort Myers, he wanted to come on, but we just weren't able to get the schedule worked out for him to come on. There's been some baseball rule changes, and my thing is this: I don't mind PEDs in baseball. I loved the 1998 whenever you had Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire chasing the home run record. You had, then you had Barry Bonds who hit 70 or however many dang home runs he hit that year. I believe that was 2001 maybe. But I've always said let them take PED. Because for me, I find baseball to be the most boring sport on the face of the earth. I'd rather watch golf than watch baseball. I really would. I can't stand watching baseball. The only time I tune into baseball is playoff time. And if the Cubs aren't in it, or a team that I find to be interesting in the playoffs, I don't watch. I'm not interested. The sport is boring. If you want to make the sport more intriguing for the fans to watch, a eliminate the shift, and I've been saying this for years. Eliminate the shift, lower the pitch amount. I've been saying it for years. More hits. More hits. That's what's going to get baseball back to the point of, to get your, look, I break down sports. I talk about sports all the time. Whenever I'm not working on my regular job, I do this. And y'all don't hear me talk about baseball. Ever. I just don't. I don't find it very intriguing. I don't find it interesting. It's the same thing for 9 innings. Walk, double play, strikeout, inning over. Occasionally you get a home run, and occasionally you're able to find a way to, push a run across. I find it absolutely one of the most boring things in the world. And in 1998, whenever Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were juiced, they made the game interesting. I mean, I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I told him, I said, in 98, whenever Sammy Sosa was coming up and hitting all those home runs, then the hop came into it. And you remember the hop. He'd hit a deep fly ball, whether it went out of the park or not. Really, in Chicago, it depended on just the wind. But, he did that hop, that double hop. And I found that interesting. I don't find baseball interesting, so I don't talk about baseball. But let them juice. If you're not going to let them juice, then lower the pitcher's mound and eliminate the shift. Thanks, Bobby Cox, for absolutely ruining baseball by, the shift. It's been trash for years, and I can't stand to watch it. But, I do tune into the postseason. I do tune into the World Series. And like a couple of years ago, the Cubs were in it. And, there was a storyline involved. But there's no storyline involved in, freaking Dodgers and Astros or the Red Sox and Astros. I mean, the biggest storyline was a couple of years ago, since the Cubs, was the Astros, because a year after the Cubs won the World Series, the Astros and the Cubs, if you remember, back when the Astros were in the NL Central, they were the worst 2 teams in the NL Central for years. And then back-to-back years, they won the World Series. So, I mean, that's a storyline. But, I mean, I can't sit here and break down walk, double play, fly out. I can't. So, but the big story right now, whenever it comes to baseball, is Harper and Machado's contracts. And all these contracts that are longer than, I say, 5 years are absolute jokes. They're absolute jokes. So much stuff can happen in 10 years. So much stuff can happen in 5 years. But I can handle a 5-year contract. I can't support a 10-year deal for $300 million. I'm not paying anybody $300 million. I don't care who you are. I wouldn't pay Michael Jordan in his prime $300 million in today's salaries. And I'm definitely not overpaying for a bat. Because the analytics show you, bats don't win games. You know what does win games? Pitching. I mean, go back and look at the history. Just over the last 4 years, 3-4 years. The teams that have been to the World Series or won the World Series, what have they had? Had great pitching. You had the Red Sox last year. Great pitching. The Yankees had great pitching. They're the favorites to win the World Series this year. Astros, a couple of years ago, great pitching. Cubs, a couple of years ago, great pitching. The Dodgers and Indians, they didn't win the World Series, but they got to it. But guess what they had? They had great pitching. I'm not going to overpay. I'm not paying $300 million over 10 years for a bat. You're crazy. And I really think that the league, that the owners are trying to avoid having to pay all this. And do I think there's a little bit of collusion involved? I do. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's a business. And if I own a business and there's somebody, the starting pay is $10 an hour, and somebody comes up to me asking for $20 an hour, I have the choice not to hire them. Just like they have the choice to not come down from $20 an hour. I'm not paying anybody that. And if the Braves don't pay anybody. So if the Braves, because we are here in Atlanta, but if the Braves want to, play year after year after year not paying anybody, that's their own prerogative. And if the Yankees want to have a 200 and, however much money, $1 million contract, that's their prerogative. And I'm not paying $30 million a year to Bryce Harper. I'm not paying $30 million to a year to Manny Machado, who doesn't even want to run to first base. I'm not doing it. And as an owner, I have the prerogative not to. I mean, I think these people are insane. These agents are insane, thinking that they're going to get their guy $300 million. How about I do this? How about I pay you 4 years, $40 million, and you can either be on a roster come opening day, or you can go the Le'Veon Bell route and not play at all. But I'm not paying you $30 million a year. You know who I will pay? I'm not even going to pay a pitcher $30 million a year, but I'll overpay for somebody like Chris Sale. I'll overpay for somebody a couple of years ago like Jake Arrieta. I'll overpay for Clayton Kershaw. I'll overpay for a lot of people. I'm not overpaying for a bat. So y'all need to get off that high horse, because that's not happening. That's not for me. And I think that's what a lot of these teams are going to. They're saying, we're not paying that. We're not paying it. So last night, Zion Williamson went for 27 and 12. And in the last 9+ minutes of that game, he led the charge of 23-point comeback versus Louisville. And it was, if you watch the game, if you have an opportunity to go back and watch the game, watch it. It was, the last 9 minutes were absolutely fantastic. Zion Williamson played with foul trouble a lot of the night, but over the last 5 minutes or 6, whenever he came back in last, he played smart. He didn't get himself he didn't foul out. And, Zion Williamson is, in my eyes, now I'm not comparing him to LeBron. I'm not saying he's going to be the next LeBron. I'm not saying he's going to do any of that. But I do believe that he's legit. I do believe that he's dominant. Now, again, this is college. This isn't the NBA. I don't believe he's going to bring that level of dominance to the NBA. Actually, I know he's not going to bring that level of dominance to the NBA. LeBron didn't even bring that kind of dominance whenever he came in. But to me, he feels like he's the real deal. I mean, did you watch the block against Louisville? I mean, it seemed like he jumped out of the stadium. Like, I feel like he had to have jumped 12, 15 feet to get that block. It was fantastic to watch it. They dominated the last 10 minutes of that game against Louisville. They couldn't get anything. And Zion Williamson was the only one doing anything. And he led the comeback. So Zion Williamson, I believe he's the real deal. I'm not comparing him to LeBron, but he does seem that he's got a little bit of the hype coming out of college that LeBron had coming out of high school. You know, people have been following him since high school. And so we'll just see where he goes overall. We'll see what all he does. But I like what I see from the kid. I like he seems like he's got the leadership gene. And at the end of the day, I believe he's the real deal. So I want to close with this. Russell Westbrook has gone for his 10th straight, is it 9 or 10 straight triple doubles? And I have never been and everybody who knows this, especially Chris, he's going to crush me after he listens to the show about Russell Westbrook. I have never been high on Russell Westbrook. To me, he feels a lot like Stephon Marbury. He feels a lot like Derrick Rose. He feels a lot like Stevie Francis, where he's a ball-centric point guard. The media loves him. He's hard to play with. I mean, he